I'm on my balance board, just to let you know. So if you see me moving, because I'm moving, I'm on my balance board. It's because I'm getting balance in my life. In 2026, I'm going to be balanced. Just kidding. Hey, I hope you're doing well. I want you to think, I was listening to someone recently in a podcast, I don't remember where, but one of the things they asked is, does God speak to us directly? I thought that's a very interesting comment. I've met many people that have at times said that God spoke to them, not necessarily in an audible voice, but they sensed the presence of God, or they sensed a verbal internal communication. We've spoken recently of what the Word is. The Word is a immaterial internal aspect of our brain that gives definition to the world around us. Think about it. It doesn't matter what language it is. When you speak of something, there's something going on in your brain, and that transmits or translates reality to the individual. So when Jesus became the Word, he literally became the means of translating the eternal reality to us. So the question is, does God speak to us directly? And I would say that he does. And he speaks to everyone directly. And we'll be talking about this tonight in service. There are verses that tell us that God cries out through creation, Psalm 19:1 and on. Romans 1 and verse 18 speaks of God's frustration, anger directed towards unbelief, those who disregard God's person as revealed through nature. They suppress that truth. God is speaking. God's speaking through what many people in the past have called the natural order, meaning that there's something behind all this, and it operates in such a way. There's natural inclinations that we have. A mother to love her children, to not just give birth and leave them there to die. There's a natural maternal instinct that we see that even in the animal kingdom. All of these aspects are aspects of God speaking to us, the diversity and unique, how can I say it, differences that we see in the world around us in terms of creation speak to the Creator, the incredible creativity of our God. All of this speaks to us. And so for each and every one of us, does God speak? Does he speak to those that we know that are unsaved, our loved ones, and perhaps others that we meet? Yes, he does. Why is it wrong to we've spoken of this in the past, but if you walked by a person and that person was, let's say, pulling the wings off of a fly or an insect, you probably wouldn't necessarily think it the greatest, but it wouldn't bother you that much. What if they were, cutting off the legs of a frog? Probably would bother you a little bit more. What if it was a dog and they decided that they were just going to torture this dog and just sitting there? It would probably, for most of us, it would crush us. But if it was a child, that would be a whole nother level. No one, you have to go to great lengths to justify that. One of the elements of the attack on Israel recently was that people don't speak of. It's not spoken of enough. We speak of all the other things that go on, but we fail to remember the many children of the, over 1,200 people, little children that were cut up and thrown in ovens, and just incredible cruelty. No one in good conscience watching that would feel comfortable with that. We would all react. And so God does speak to us, and he speaks to us by virtue of a conscience that we all have. In Romans chapter 1 and verse 15 and 16, or 14 through 16, it speaks to the fact that, even the Gentiles, by nature, observe internal requirements. They have these values that they maintain and keep. That they themselves have a law unto themselves. All humanity does. This is what led C.S. Lewis to the Lord so many years ago, when he studied all the cultures and realized that with all the vast differences, there's still these basic values that we all adhere to. And you have to go to great lengths to undermine them. So, does God speak to us today? Yes, he does. Is he speaking to you today? Yes, he is. And as believers, he speaks to us on a much more personal level, because the Word became flesh. God actually defined eternity and his very nature and person and purpose through his Son, Jesus Christ. And the more we come to know him through his Word, the more real that reality becomes in us and through us to a world around us. This is why God wants you and I to be new, not just a revision, but new. That's why we're being changed from glory to glory in 2 Corinthians 3:18. God doesn't want the same old thing. He wants our mind renewed so that we can be something they haven't seen before, not distinctly different in terms of our presentation or outward manifestation, but distinctly different as a person, because there's another person living in us through the Spirit. I hope you have a very creatively new day in Jesus Christ. Till next time, friends, God bless you.